And there it is. The red light is blinking. Welcome. This is great. This is great. I am Dr. Jamye Hardy. I go by Jamie, so please feel free to call me Jamie. I am so excited to share today the Recalibrate on Purpose Masterclass. So this is in relationship to the workbook Recalibrate on Purpose that I put out not too long ago, maybe about a month or so ago now. That is really focused on helping leaders, so people who care about the impact that they make on other people, um, providing that opportunity for leaders to take a look at their past experiences in terms of successes, their past experiences in terms of the challenges that they've had, and really put that in the context of their purpose, what it is that you feel like you are called to do, or whatever it is that you feel like you are chosen to do, or whatever you have chosen to do. Um, Putting that in a larger context so that we can get really clear on what is it that we need to do next? What is the best next step for us? So in the chat, I would love to see what comes to mind when you hear the word recalibrate. Today, we're going to be looking at your unique purpose. So we'll focus on some reflection, some practicality and knowledge around what that looks like, and really mastering the art of taking your reflection and then turning that into action. So you're going to need something to write with. You can also utilize the chat, but it's going to be really engaging. It's going to be an opportunity for you to maybe have some thoughts that you've never had before, and writing that down on a piece of paper or in the chat will give you that tangible opportunity to put those things even further into your brain so you can apply them later. So why are we doing this? What was it that called me to feel like I needed to wake up at 10 a.m.? I woke up at 7 and put this together. Well, no one can make the impact that you can. So it's imperative that you continue on your own path, which requires some intentionality around the ways that you reflect on your own purpose, your own well-being, and your own goals. As the only person who can change the world in the way that you can, we have to have a certain level of curiosity or a certain level of self-awareness around the ways that we are taking care of ourselves, the ways that we are taking care of our brains, and the ways that we are taking care of, again, the purpose that we are either called to or the purpose that we feel like we have decided to embark on in this life. So a few answers that were given in terms of what recalibrate means to them. I saw clarity in some of our registration reflections. I also saw getting clear on what to do next. I saw getting rid of or stopping analysis paralysis was another thing that someone shared. So take a moment to think about what recalibrate means to you. So when I think of recalibrate, I think of utilizing a GPS system. So you can see our map over here where we, may be headed in a particular direction. And then we might need to find some coffee, or maybe we need to know where the gas station is, or maybe we need to find out what traffic to avoid. But by the time, if you've ever used a GPS, by the time you've searched all over for all the things that you're looking for, you may find yourself away from your original route, right? But there's a little dot, there's a little arrow, a location arrow that we have, a little whoop, that just brings us back to where we need to be. And so it is my goal today, by the end of our time together, that you will have a little button that you can go and press on so that you have the opportunity to start to recalibrate yourself. Some of the steps and knowledge that we're going to talk about today are maybe new. They may take a certain level of intentionality behind utilizing those things. But in reality, once we get into the practice of doing these things, we won't have to be so intentional. We won't need to utilize these fill in the blank templates that we may use today because it will become a part of your life. Welcome, Demetria. So glad to have you here. Drop it in the chat if you are looking at, if you're thinking about what it means to recalibrate. Chantel says recentering. Austin says starting fresh. So what does recalibrating mean to you? And before we get started, there's a special giveaway today, y'all. I am just elated that you have decided to join me today. And so for those of you joining us live, there is an opportunity for a giveaway. This is a screenshot of a Passion Planner Daily. It is one of the planners that I utilize because I haven't yet created my own planner. But this is a planner that helps to provide a section for everything that you might think about in your own life. Your focus of the day, it's got a whole area just to fill in the blank of whatever you want to be over there. But it's also got your daily schedule. It's also got some space to think about what it is that is part of your self-maintenance or your self-care. Welcome, Tyler. We know that she is someone who talks about the difference between self-maintenance and self-care. And that is another opportunity. That is a whole nother masterclass. But this particular passion planner is something that I really enjoy, and I wanted to provide it as an opportunity to say thank you for being here today. So I'll tell you a little bit more a little later about what it means to enter into the giveaway. But thank you for being here today. Let's get into it. Who am I? Who is this lady? I am Dr. Jamye. I do go by Jamye. This is me. I identify as a social worker. And for me, that means that I look at people and problems as the whole person or within a whole environment. I also identify as an educator. So there are a number of college courses on the levels of behavioral sciences and conflict management and social work that I have taught in the past, along with other community workshops. And so I love to teach, I love to educate, and I also identify as a leader. I am on the board of 3 different nonprofits in Nashville. But in reality, leadership started for me when I was really young. I was in the Girl Scouts. Anybody in the Girl Scouts? I was a Girl Scout. I was a camp counselor. I also was president of my sorority in college. I mean, I just continuously have found myself in these opportunities of leadership. And I think that is where a lot of my passion comes from, because I recognize that when you decide to be a leader, whether that be a personal choice or whether that be a position that you have or just life happenstance, there are certain responsibilities or certain things that are required of you that may not be required of those who are not in that position. And so that being a special place in my life, I understand the value of feeding into other leaders. The other side of me is that I'm a partner. This is my fiance and dog, Austin. Well, Austin is the fiance and the dog is Nala. I call her my little doggie. She is a 3-year-old rescue, and I just can't get enough of her. Can't get enough. She's watching too. She's watching our masterclass today too. I'm also a traveler. I've been to 9 countries. This fun picture of me over here is me in Mexico. I just got back and I can't wait to stamp that passport again. I'm also a comedian. You will see on my website that I did a 30-year-old birthday party, my own birthday party, where I hosted a comedy show. And it's part of my joy and also sports. The reason why I'm sharing all of this with you is because all of those things are connected to my purpose and my passion. I understand what it's like to feel really disjointed. At one point in time in my own leadership journey, I became so laser focused on success or so laser focused on winning that everything that really made me a human fell to the background. And that led to burnout, and then that led into depression. And so that also feeds into the passion that I have for feeding into leaders, because I understand what can happen when you lose sight of your purpose and everything that makes you a whole person. It can really be a dangerous place to be, and I feel it's so important to elevate the value of well-being and success and how those things really do work together. So jumping right in, we are going to take a moment of meditation. And this is the first tool that I want to offer you as a leader who is taking a moment to focus on recalibrating towards your purpose. Your breath is always with you for as long as you live, and it can be so vital in terms of making the decisions that are most aligned to your particular purpose. The science behind breath, when your exhales are longer than your inhales, it triggers your parasympathetic nervous system, which literally tells your body, I am not being chased by a tiger and I desire to relax. And that is what I am triggering in my body. So that's the science behind it. But the cognitive or psychological part behind it is that you are taking the authority to pause and give yourself a moment to breathe. So you could find a comfortable seated position. Perhaps you're already comfortable. Perhaps you're already seated. Take a moment to get comfortable even more. And I invite you to draw your eyes down. I move around a lot, so I might be a little distracting in this moment of meditation. So just draw your eyes down if you feel comfortable or it's safe to do so. You can close your eyes. If you are driving, please don't close your eyes. That is not what I'm asking you to do. But even if you are in some movement, you can focus in on your breath and breathe normally and begin to notice where your breath is sitting in your inhales and exhales. Is it kind of stopping at your throat? Is it kind of going down towards your chest? And now wherever your breath is, take a intentional deeper breath than what is resting for you right now. And you may begin to notice any discomfort or any places of pain or tension. So take a moment to invite your next breath towards that tension or towards that pain. And on your exhale, give that tension permission to leave your body. Your next inhale is the deepest yet, the deepest one that you've taken all day this morning. And on your next exhale, allow it to be audible. There may be a sigh, there may be a groan. But put a little pressure behind your exhale. And as we begin to bring our attention back to our masterclass today on recalibrating to your own purpose, decide what your intention is for this hour that we have together. When you're ready, you can flutter your eyes open or bring your awareness back to our masterclass. How was that for you? Remembering that meditation is a tool, breath is a tool, and it's always available to us. It is always accessible. Tyler said it was needed. Yes, it is. I think sometimes many soapbox, well-being or exercise or health can feel intangible because we live in this sauce that tells us that we need to buy things or that we need to go to someone else for help or support. And those things can be helpful and or supportive. And our very first tool that is free and always available to us is our breath. So if you leave here with nothing else, let it be that. But you're going to get plenty more. So now that we're centered, what is your purpose and what is your why? Feel free to drop it in the chat, or you can put that in your own notes for yourself, because we're going to be utilizing this. Each question that I ask you, we're going to put it all together in the end. So you can drop it in the chat or just remember it or write it down where you are. But what is your purpose and what is your why? Your purpose is what you are motivated or called to do in the world. And let it be easy. What comes to mind? Say it out loud. If it feels right, that's it. If it doesn't feel right, we all have the right to change our minds. There are very few decisions that we can make that we can't make another decision about. We can always change our mind. But what feels right in this moment? What feels right today? And then behind that purpose, what's the why? Where does that come from? You may feel motivated to help people, or you may feel motivated to support women. But where does that come from? What's that deeper meaning behind that? Austin says his purpose is healing and helping others do so, currently through my music and my story. So sometimes when the question of what is your purpose comes up, sometimes I hear, I don't know what my purpose is, or I'm not sure what my purpose is. My belief is that it's not so much that we don't know what it is, because we all feel called to do something. I sometimes feel called to go to Starbucks, right? Because I know that uh, fuels me. Um, just that whole environment. Any Starbucks lovers, we can talk about Starbucks at another time. But it's not so much that we don't know maybe what our purpose is, but that there is an apprehension behind believing that it's true or validating what we feel our purpose is. So, for example, um, I have wanted to help people my whole life. Um, Started in Girl Scouts. Obviously, it's a volunteer organization. You get rewarded with badges for helping people. So that's where I started. And I don't know, there's something about maybe the broader society, the environment grew up in, I don't know. But as I got older, there was something about helping people that I felt wasn't good enough, or I felt wasn't worthy, or felt like it wasn't going to sustain me in the way that I needed to be. And in reality, that was a internal cycle. That was an internal dialogue of me not validating that what I felt called to do was true. And every time I got away from that, I felt worse, or I felt off or misaligned. So, whatever your purpose is, whatever's just come up in your mind for sure, um, in this moment, if never before, or like never before, give yourself permission to say, yes, that is my purpose, and that is valid and good enough, and that is valuable, and that contributes to the world, that contributes positively to the populations that I want to impact, whether that be your family, whether that be your community, whomever. Austin says, you feel it for sure. Yeah, you definitely feel your purpose. Kristen says, I've felt that when you move towards your purpose, it feels good, and ignoring or pushing it away feels bad. Absolutely. Yes. There's a concept that I want to share called allostatic load. You can look it up, you can Google it. But allostatic load refers to the cumulative burden of chronic stress or life events. So things that involve physiological or psychological stressors, or evidence of stress, and the prolonged experience of that. When I think about the reasons why perhaps some of us, or some people in general, operate away from our purpose, is because there's literally so much stuff that is surrounding us, or so much stuff that is in our lives. And it is so important to acknowledge the fact that the things that we experience do have an impact on us. And at certain points in time, if experienced over a long period of time or too frequently, that can become too heavy to where we're bubbling over like this washing machine. And the reason why I bring this up in this moment is to, one, offer you a new word. Now you've got a new party trick. Uh, but It also offers the opportunity for us to practice self compassion. I think some of the times when we are operating out of our purpose or even away from our purpose, there's a lot of blame and shame that and guilt that comes along with that. And there's a lot of there's even more pulling away from what our purpose is, as opposed to turning towards what those challenges are and validating them as challenges. When we go through hard stuff, our best looks different than what it is when we are not experiencing those things or when we haven't experienced those things for a prolonged moment of time. You are the person who is making your purpose come to fruition. So the maintenance that has to be done on the vehicle, on your own washing machine, is required. If whomever owns this washing machine never decided to figure out what was going on, they would never wash their clothes again. And this poor washing machine would never fulfill its purpose because what it needed was not attended to. So I hope that resonates in a way that gives you permission. You allow yourself to give yourself permission to turn towards what might be challenging, turn towards what might be impacting your perceived or realistic ability to engage in your purpose. And allow that to lead you to where it needs to. Earlier, Tierra says, recalibrating is switching routes or starting over. Sometimes things need to be rewired. Sometimes things need to be cleaned up. And then that can make way for our purpose in our lives. So as that is on your mind, either privately or on a piece of paper, think about what are some of those heavy things that may be weighing you down. What might be the extra soap in the laundry that's making it bubble over? And again, this is for yourself, but feel free to drop it in the chat if you're wanting to share. But what feels heavy? We have this backpack image here, and we're going to use that in a moment. But think about putting what feels heavy or what feels like a barrier into this backpack. We have these few moments together where we are giving ourselves permission to take what feels heavy and putting it away. These things might be limiting beliefs. They may be life experiences that feel like they're weighing you down. What are the things that you feel like are really holding you back? This next tool that I'm going to provide and that we're going to experience together is called guided imagery. Very similar to meditation, but it is more so in the realm of guiding you through an image or an active image. So with those things in mind, those things that are weighing you down, those limiting beliefs, things that you feel like are in the way of you really aligning with your purpose. I invite you to find another comfortable position. It's a very comfortable masterclass. And this time, you are more than welcome to view this beautiful photo that I took myself in Mexico. This is black sand. I have never seen black sand before, but oh my goodness, I need to see it again. Um, this is going to be a guided imagery opportunity for us to validate and then put away what those heavy things may be, and then see what may be possible from that place. That was a spoiler alert. Let's get into it. So finding a comfortable seated position, you are more than welcome to look at the image or draw your eyes down or close your eyes. And imagine that you are walking along a beach. The shore goes as far as you can see. You can hear the gulls and the gentle roll of the waves. You sink your feet into the warm sand. It is quiet and safe. You are alone, walking into the soft sea wind. The sun is shining down on you, making you warm. You've been looking for a place to be quiet and comfortable, and this feels as if it is your beach and your beach alone. This is the place of quiet and comfort that you have been looking for. You stop, stand, and look out over the immense expanding ocean. It shows its top green water, its purple midwater, and its gray, powerful underwater. The colors are churning and mixing, creating the bubbly white crest at the top of each wave. The roll of each wave sounds like the earth breathing ocean, ocean, over and over again with each wave. You feel the power of the ocean and the power of the earth, and there is a strong and certain connection between you and the waves. A short distance ahead of you, you now notice a large beach house, and it is beckoning to you. It looks like a temple or a castle. You walk towards it, relaxed, interested. You follow a short path to the house and see that there is a large door that is open just for you. And you feel that it is perfectly safe and okay for you to go inside. And it is calm and it is safe. You step out of the sunshine and into the coolness of this beautiful house. What do you see? There's a large hallway with plants and paintings, magnificent marble staircase. You recognize that you want to go up the stairs, but you become very aware of a very heavy backpack that you've been carrying this whole time. The backpack is full of your worries, troubles, concerns, limiting beliefs, expectations of others, negative feelings, everything that is weighing you down. You've been carrying them for a long time, and you realize that your shoulders and your back ache and feel tight and stiff from all of these feelings. Slowly remove your backpack, and with it, all of your worries and concerns. The tension is subsiding and you feel released You are feeling free. You can now easily ascend the staircase, and each step you take, you become lighter, you become happier, certain, and quieted. Each step brings you closer to absolute alignment, comfort, and joy. And in this moment, you realize that the comfort and joy is within you, and it has always been within you. And now there is nothing to get in the way of connecting with these feelings of purpose and comfort and joy. And now, at the top of the stairs, you are strong and certain. A large window is at the top of the stairs in front of a big, comfortable chair. You sit down, face the window, and watch again the magnificent ocean. This time is yours, and every part of you is in complete alignment. You watch from your chair by your window in your house. Breathe in the soft ocean air and know you are standing sovereign in your purpose, open to all of the possibilities that flow from this place of freedom. When you're ready, I invite you to your own thoughts, whether that be thinking in your head, sharing in the chat, writing on a piece of paper. What is possible from this place? What is possible from that place at the top of the stairs, looking out into the ocean, feeling connected, feeling aligned, not being weighed down? What is possible from that place? Tyler says, whew. So a sigh of relief is available at the top of the stairs. Austin says, everything of greatness. What else is available to you in this moment? Tyler says a reframing. Absolutely. And reframing can be so powerful. Reframing is so powerful because in reality, it is you that changes in reframing. There's nothing that changes in your external reality. It's the perspective that you have. And man, that perspective can really make a difference. So in the Recalibrate on Purpose workbook, there are several questions, several opportunities for you to think about your purpose, your reflections on different successes that you've had, reflections on different challenges that you've had, moments of gratitude and celebration, and then a place for you to think about your best next steps. For this distilled moment, here are 3 questions. Again, 3 more that we're going to use in just a moment. But here are 3 questions for you to think about. Still in this moment of reframing, still in this moment of taking a deep breath, still in this moment of greatness is available to you. So now from this place, consider what insights have you gained about your own needs when navigating challenges? That's the first question. And this answer we're going to use in just a moment. So drop it in the chat or write it on your own, but keep it handy. So, what insights have you gained about your own needs when navigating challenges? And then next, what are you better at now than you have been in the past? So, this is reflecting on the successes that you've had. What's gone well? What have you grown from? What are you better at now? And then the third answer that we're going to use, and I invite you to not take too long. These are definitely things, especially us, our leadership selves can write whole books on each one of these. Okay, so just a little answer. The third one is who or what has supported you and helped you to grow. So this is thinking about gratitude. This is thinking about celebration. Who or what has supported you and helped you grow? I learned reflection from my dad for two reasons. One, he's a retired professor now, but he taught philosophy and religion, the two probably most thinkingest topics that you can focus on in any college environment. And he always told me that I always needed a question. So anytime that we were driving around when I was little, I mean, we would pass an empty pool and he would say, Alex, that's my middle name, Alex, where did those people go? It might be December. where are those people? Why aren't they swimming? But at a very young age, he instilled in me the value of reflection. He also taught me reflection by telling me that any adversity that I experienced as a child was going to get me through anything else that I would ever experience. I would say that some parts of me in my personality, some parts of me was just a dissatisfied child. I just always wanted more, or just always wanted something to be different or better. Maybe that's where some of that leadership comes from too. But there were a lot of moments where I felt anguish, where I felt frustration. And so he would tell me, Alex, you can get through this. You can get through it. And at the moment, I was just probably still dissatisfied with that answer, with that what he gave me. But after a while, it started to help me understand that whatever experiences I had were ultimately connected to how I might react in the future. My dad is also a proud member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. I too am in an NPHC sorority alpha, Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. And I know some of us are also here as well. Our sisters of Delta Sigma Theta are here as well, and many others who may be familiar with the poem Invictus. And the very last line of that poem, Invictus, if you're not familiar with this poem, look it up. Look it up. It's powerful. The very last line is, it matters not how straight the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. Now, when I learned that, I just learned it because I had to learn it. But thinking back on that, It matters not how straight the gate. It matters not how things happen. It matters not what goes on in our external environment. I am the master of my fate, regardless of whatever it is. I can make meaning out of what that looks like. This is where we start to get into recalibrating, some of that reframing that Tyler brought up. All of this foundational work that we've done is really setting us up to apply the outcomes of reflection. And it's really in the application of our outcomes of reflection where we can tangibly recalibrate. So I promised some practicality in this. I promised some tangible things. So another point of education here in therapy and psychology, in social work, there is an approach called cognitive behavioral therapy. And it essentially means that, or it essentially highlights the fact that your thoughts impact your feelings, which impact your behaviors, which impacts your thoughts, which impacts your feelings, and so on and so forth. And so, in this context of recalibrating to our purpose, there are some additions that we need to bring into our awareness so that we can begin to recalibrate. So there's an event, something happens, we have a thought about it, and then we feel some kind of way about it. When we're recalibrating, it's important to identify, first of all, how we're actually feeling. Side note, if you have never seen a feelings wheel, Google it right now. We're on Zoom, so I know you can go to the internet, look up a feelings wheel, look it up. A game changer. Simply saying how you're actually feeling can be so freeing and so validating, and that can provide room for this other stuff. Because feelings are big. Feelings can feel big and they can take up a lot of space. They don't have to, but when we begin to name exactly what it is, we can start to mold them into meaning. But naming them is first. So once we name the feelings, identify objectively what was the outcome of that event. And then what did we learn from that outcome? And then from that lesson, what is the connection to our purpose? Because it's that connection that we make that will then influence how we act. And then our actions influence what happens in our life. And here's the cycle again. So here's a tangible way that we start to zoom out. Oftentimes you'll hear reflect or journal, but there are very seldom direction that goes along with this. Like, okay, I'm just gonna sit here and write with thoughts, but like, how am I gonna use that, right? This is a way to use that. We're gonna talk about another way to use it in a moment. The answers to the questions that we've been thinking about this whole time. But this is an opportunity for you to really break down the events in your life, whether it be in real time or in reflection, so you can start to recalibrate. As I just mentioned previously, everything that we go through is connected to everything that we will experience. In some form or fashion, we can either learn from it or it can be unutilized. And maybe an unutilized experience is a wasted experience. And we as leaders don't like to waste time. It's time, it's money. And we all like to get back. Anyway, we need to be intentional about this process, because it is this process that helps us to identify some of those areas that maybe we weren't previously aware of, that can shed light on where our purpose may be in our lives. We feel disconnected. If we feel disconnected, maybe in reality it isn't, or maybe in our own internal reality we haven't made it connect. But we can make some meaning if we take some time to think about it. I think for me, my example here was when I left my graduate program. I did end up going to another one, but my very first graduate program, I recognized that space was not for me. It wasn't the environment, it wasn't the program. I mean, it was just none of it worked. None of it worked. I was in the middle of a cornfield in Illinois. I'm from Nashville. That was unhealthy for me. But anyway, the event was that I left my graduate program. My thoughts behind that were that I did feel like I was abandoning that experience. I also felt free in a sense because I really didn't feel like that was a good space for me. And in reality, shout out to Austin for being there for me. He was one of the first people to bring into my awareness that any decision that we make can oftentimes just be changed by another decision that we make. I felt so stuck, but when I decided to leave, I felt free, but I was kind of balancing between these conflicting feelings. So the outcome of that experience was that I got to a better place. I was able to be more aligned with mentors that wanted to focus on mental health and higher education. That was my desire in that moment. And where I was just wasn't equipped to handle that. There are other reasons why I didn't like that place, but the outcome was that I was in a better place. The lesson then was that there's a difference between giving up and moving on. And that still hits me every time. I had to pause on that. There's a difference between giving up and moving on. And had I not engaged in this process, now this is after the fact, right? This is in hindsight, it's 2020. Okay, that's where I'm giving it to you because this could have been so helpful for me. But the connection then that I was able to make to my purpose was that, okay, I want to help people. And sometimes people who desire to be helped need to leave the situations that they're in. And it can be so hard to do that. But now I have this lived experience that I can speak from. Was it a life or death situation? I mean, not in reality, but internally, I was very unwell in that place. And so I understand what it's like to feel that tension between should I stay or should I go? And what are other people going to think? And what is this going to mean for me? And am I going to be able to X, Y, Z, because I'm deciding to change a direction. And because I'm able to make that connection to my purpose, my behaviors then in other situations have been different. When I felt uncomfortable or when I felt like something wasn't aligned, I was able to go through this process again and recognize that I don't have to get stuck in the feelings and that there's value that comes out of those challenges. Chantel says, hello, time is valuable. Okay. And it is. And it is. So we're coming up on the end of our masterclass. And man, this has been a wonderful time. Thank you all so much for being here. This is wonderful. I promised you a little boop. Okay. At the beginning, we said in our GPS system, we may be on our way somewhere and we may scroll over and look for a coffee shop. We may scroll over and look for the gas station. We may scroll up and make sure there's no traffic on 65, traffic on Fessler's Lane here. Okay, we're all familiar with Nashville, at least in this part right here, you know. Maybe on a replay, you're like, what are you talking about? If there's one area that always has an accident, it's Fessler's Lane. Anyway, regardless, when we look for those other things, we need a little way to get back to where we're going. Where was I? And that little arrow on the side of our GPS takes us right back. This statement, I invite you to take a screenshot. You'll get the recording, but go ahead and screenshot it now. Take a picture with your phone, screenshot it. This is our recalibration statement. This can be our snap back into who we are and what we're doing. Remember, we are applying outcomes of reflection, and that's how we're recalibrating. So it starts off with, I am the leader who. State your purpose in action. What does your purpose look like? I choose to accept mistakes and challenges as gifts, and I have learned that insert insight gained from past challenges. I am capable of accomplishing anything that I decide is aligned with my purpose. And I know this to be true because insert insight gained from past successes, just from what we just did 2 slides ago. And you can change it at any point in time. Remember, we have the freedom to change our mind. But just in this moment, just for our few more minutes that we have together today. My purpose is supported by insert things, people, places you're grateful for. And I am becoming even more aware of the tools that are available to me. Today, we've talked about meditation and breath and guided imagery as tools. This is also a tool. The things that you are grateful for are also tools. How are they tools? They help you. I don't know if anybody's ever used the wrong tool on a job before, like around the house or something, but the wrong tool can make an easy job hard. Tweet that. The wrong tool can make an easy job hard. We've got plenty of tools. There's so much that we are individually grateful for. Utilize those things. And finally, it is amazing what I can do when I believe in myself. So, insert next step here. It was so good to have you here, Tyler. We'll see you later. So, as an example, I may say, I am a leader who supports others in pursuing their purpose because the ripple effect of positive action is far greater than any one action that I can take alone. I choose to accept mistakes and challenges as gifts, and I have learned that listening and being present is a tool for greater leadership. I'm capable of accomplishing anything that I decide is aligned in my purpose. And I know this to be true because I have created impactful masterpieces out of a dollar and a dream. My purpose is supported by my partner, my community, and my tech skills, and I'm becoming even more aware of the tools that are available to me. It is amazing what I can do when I believe in myself. So I will amplify my voice to educate and empower leaders. I would love to know what yours says. You can send it to me, you can put it in the chat, and screenshot it and put it on socials if you want to. Shout it to the world. This is for you. This is for you. You don't have to share it with me. You don't have to share it with socials. This is for you. If you're willing to share, I'd love to know. The last thing that I want to touch on is accountability. We've talked about these wonderful things that are in the realm of recalibrating to our purpose. But what's going to hold us to it? So, good old Merriam-Webster says that accountability is the quality or state of being accountable, especially an obligation or willingness to accept responsibility. When I saw that, the very first thing that came to mind was, first of all, nothing that works is without accountability. And secondly, no one is giving permission for things that need to be taken responsibility for. No one says you have permission to take care of your children. No one says you have permission to take care of your house. You have permission to take care of yourself. Like, I guess that's what we're doing here, right? Like, we are bringing up that authority within ourselves, but that comes from yourself. You get to decide who you are answerable to. So again, that recalibration statement is for you. I would love to know what it is. No need to share. But what's next for me is amplifying my voice. So you're hearing it first. It's finally here. I got a podcast. I am, it is posted on my website. It is currently percolating in the Apple atmosphere. Hopefully, it will be available elsewhere soon, but it is going through the mechanics of being posted on Apple Podcasts. But right now, you can hear it first on jamiehardy.com. The very first episode is there. And this QR code here is your exit survey. So along with amplifying my voice, I always want to make sure that I am doing things and talking about things that are relevant to people who are going to hear it. I mean, to be completely honest, I'm here for you, and this is what I love to do. So this QR code will lead you to an exit survey. It will also lead you to the giveaway. I understand that some of you are on your phones, and so I'm going to drop this in the chat. And as we wrap up today, I just want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up for yourself. Thank you for showing up for this masterclass. I hope that you are feeling recalibrated. I hope that you feel like the tools that are already in your life are in your awareness, even closer in your awareness than maybe you originally thought. You can connect with me at any of these places. especially the podcast. We're really excited about that. And I can't wait to hear what you thought about today. And I can't wait to see who's going to win this passion planner. I mean, what is it? Is it right here? This is mine. I've got a fresh one ready to go. But this is just my opportunity to say thank you. This is the way that I'm choosing to say thank you, but from my heart, thank you for being here. Thank yourself for showing up. I'd love to see any takeaways in the chat. If you're wanting or willing to share, but I'll see those in the exit survey. I'll leave it up for just a moment longer so we can make sure that everybody fills out the exit ticket and has the opportunity to enter into the drawing. So exciting to give things away. I'm such a giver. When I was growing up, my mom would have guests over and I would run around the house and like find different like hotel soaps and unused trinkets to put them in a basket. I love giving gifts. It's very fun for me. As you can see, I'm giggling. But it's exciting to me, and I just wanted to make this a really fun part of our experience today. Thank you all again. I clearly can't say thank you enough. And thank yourselves for showing up. Have a beautiful, recalibrated rest of your day. If you're in Nashville, the sun has decided to come up along with the clouds. But wherever you are, make it a great day, because it already is.